welcome back to Chapter Day. Happy Sunday, the first day of a new week. And we are going to be reading Job chapter 19. Yesterday I read two chapters, 17 and 18, kind of to make up for the day I missed in between. And Job was talking, again, he was lamenting his life and maybe preferring the grave as to what he was enduring. And let's not pretend like Job is the only person who's ever felt that way, because we all have. Okay, ask someone who is seriously ill and cannot seem to recover. You ask that person what they would prefer at any given moment, life or death. And Job is also I think the whole thing, he was lamenting his situation. And I guess, I don't know if he said anything about his friends, but his friend Bildad had a response after him, still accusing Job of not being a righteous man. So this is what Bildad's speech was about. So now we are moving on to chapter 19, and Job will be speaking again. Then Job answered and said, "How long will you vex my soul and break me in pieces with words? These 10 times have you reproached me. You are not ashamed that you make yourself strange to me. And be it indeed that I have erred, mine error remaineth with myself. If indeed you will magnify yourselves against me and plead against me my reproach." Now, every time I read Job, and some other parts of scripture, but majorly Job, because it's like a speaking. Like how Shakespeare wrote his plays, with there is being a conversation going on amongst the people rather than a story to just be read. A narrative. Yeah, that's the word. A narrative. So every time I read it, it sounds so Shakespearean. And like I said, I believe Shakespeare was one of the original writers of the King James Version. Okay, so here Job is saying, why are you all vexing my soul? You ever met people like that? Every time they speak to you, it's like that spirit of annoyance just springs up in you. And it's something we need to suppress too. But he's saying, you're making yourself strange to me. Y'all are supposed to be my friends, my boys. Y'all used to come hang with me. Now because this is happening to me, you're here accusing me. You're throwing stones at me rather than trying to cover me and comfort me. It seems like you're reproaching me and buffing yourself up over me. Like y'all are more righteous than me. All right, verse 6. Know now that God hath overthrown me and hath compassed me with his net. Behold, I cry out of wrong, but I am not heard. I cry aloud, but there is no judgment. He hath fenced up my way that I cannot pass, and he hath set darkness in my paths. He hath stripped me of my glory and taken the crown from my head. He hath destroyed me on every side, and I am gone, and mine hope hath he removed like a tree. This is how Job feels about how he's being treated. And he is blaming God because, like he said, the Lord giveth and the Lord taketh away. So at this moment, God has taken away everything from him, including his health. His life is the only thing in the balance. And we know why he has not died. Because God has commanded it that it be not so. And I tell everyone this that we're reading here in Job, don't just take it. Even if somebody says it is a made up story, you know what? There's a lot to learn. Even from the parables Jesus told. They were all stories pertaining to the lesson that Jesus wanted to teach the people. And this is the same for us. That when we go through trials and we cannot see what's going on, if our eyes were to be open, we would see the demons around and the angels around that are contesting and competing to get us through these things. And what God allows is for our growth in faith and belief and trust. And we don't like it. Honestly, we don't. Okay, verse 11. He hath also kindled his wrath against me, and he counteth me unto him as one of his enemies. His troops come together and raise up their way against me, and encamp round about my tabernacle. He hath put my brethren far from me, and mine acquaintance are verily estranged from me. Mine kinsfolk have failed, and my familiar friends have forgotten me. Now I tell you this, it's in adversity, you know your people. You know who is your real relative and your real friend. Because when you are in dire need and you can't be the one helping others, let's see how much they look out for you. When you can help them and stretch your hand out and give, let's see how much help you are going to receive from those same people when the time comes and you are the one in need and the tables are turned. Verse 15, they that dwell in mine house and my maids count me for a stranger. I am an alien in their sight. I called my servant and he gave me no answer. I entreated him with my mouth. My breath is strange to my wife, though I entreated for the children's sake of mine own body. Yea, young children despise me. I rose, and they spake against me. All my inward friends abhorred me, and they whom I loved are turned against me. I tell you this, many times we've gone through this, maybe in not such severity, but there are times when people have moved away from us for whatever reason. If we are sick, they don't want to come around us, whether it is we were well and we just had a change of belief or a change of, I'm not sure what it might be, or they just felt whatever it was, the spirit stopped moving them to, to collaborate with us or to be friendly to us. Sometimes you will ask yourself, what did I do to that person? We used to be such good friends or companions, and for some reason the person just changed totally. It seemed like they changed because you don't feel like you have felt anything otherwise towards them, but somehow they start treating you differently. They try to avoid you at all costs, and sometimes you might hear they are ill-speaking you with someone else, and you ask yourself, what did I do? And sometimes, you know what, just like Job here, you did nothing. You did nothing. It's the spirit of the devil that's moving within them to come against you. And this is what's happening with Job. Job is righteous. Job is, and I'm not saying that on behalf of Job. God said that on behalf of Job. I am just reiterating what God said. I didn't know Job. God did. And nobody knows you but God, truthfully. Okay. Verse 20, my bone cleaveth to my skin and to my flesh, and I am escaped with the skin of my teeth. Have pity upon me, have pity upon me, O ye my friends, for the hand of God hath touched me. Oh my goodness. I feel for Job, honestly, because sometimes I have felt like that, honestly. Why do you persecute me as God, and are not satisfied with my flesh? Oh, that my words were not written. Oh, that they were printed in a book, that they were graven with an iron pen and lead in the rock forever. For I know that my Redeemer liveth, and that he shall stand at the latter day upon the earth. My gosh. And Job held fast to God. He knows his Redeemer lives despite what he's going through. Some of us would have cursed God and died already. Say, forget God. God is not here helping me. And we feel it. We feel it. Some Job feels it. But he is still hanging in there by a thread, by the skin of his teeth, as he said. Oh, mercy. Verse 26, and though after my skin worms destroy this body, yet in my flesh shall I see God. What is Job talking about? When he dies and the worms destroy the body, God will raise him again. This is what Job knows. How did Job know this? We haven't had New Testament writing yet, but this was known among the early people, that this is what happens. We don't fly up to heaven or fall down into hell when we die. We go to the grave and wait. Like I said, there are few instances of people being caught up to heaven. Elijah was one. We hear about Moses being dead, and they have no clue where Moses' grave was, because they say God buried him and took him again, because he was one. He and Elijah appeared to Jesus at that time. when Jesus needed that reassurance. And then we heard of Enoch, walked with God, and then he was not. Nobody knew where he went, so they assumed, hey, you know what? God must have taken him. Beyond that, we have no record of anybody being taken up to heaven. We've heard of angels coming and visiting, like Lot and Abraham, but we have no record of any. There's no family member in heaven looking down at you. That is not happening. When Jesus comes, he said, the dead in Christ shall rise first, and then those who remain will be caught up with them in the air, and there shall you ever be with the Lord. That's what we know. The rest is just lies and false assumptions. And we need to read the Bible and take it for what it says, because this is what Job is saying to us here right now. I have to wait, because if the worms eat his body, there's no way he's going to be in heaven with wormy body, because we will be changed in the twinkling of an eye. That's when he will see God in his flesh, when his body has been changed. Okay? Verse 27, whom I shall see for myself, and mine eyes shall behold, and not another, though my reins be consumed with me. But you should say, why persecute we him, seeing the root of the matter is found in me? Be ye afraid of the sword, for wrath bringeth the punishments of the sword, that you may know there is a judgment. You heard what Job said? There is a judgment. Job is not living vicariously as if there is no God. Job knows God, and Job knows he will be judged. But for what he's going through, he knows there is nothing on his record to warrant God's punishment of him, as his friends are claiming. That's the end of Job chapter 19. This is a powerful book for us today. Living in these times, we need to read and remember. Read and remember, lest we forget. That's our problem. So that's it for today's reading. I pray you all have a blessed week ahead. Whatever comes your way, keep on praying, good, bad, or otherwise. God is going to get you through it. And thank God if your blessings come. And if they don't, you know what? You keep on praying, keep on holding. God is working on something for you, and it's going to be good. So until our next reading, keep on listening. That's how faith comes and grows. Take care. Bye.